When a person has experienced trauma, almost nothing feels safe. And when someone doesn't feel safe, no amount of talk can convince them otherwise, because trauma is something that happens deep in the core of our brain and body. So how can we work with both the brain and the body to help patients feel safe, particularly when they're not in your office? In the next few minutes, Dr. Peter Levine is going to demonstrate 2 techniques that patients can use to self-soothe and self-regulate. And what's especially useful about these techniques is that you can give them to your patients to use whenever and wherever they are. Let's hear from Peter.
When a person's feeling traumatized, is traumatized, nothing feels safe. Almost nothing feels safe. And as therapists, what we want to do is to be able to convey, at least in the smallest amount, an island of safety. That there is a way that you can feel safe, that something has happened to you, you survived it. Now we're going to go back up and pick up some of those pieces that you left behind so you can be whole again. The other thing that's important in trauma therapy is that as soon as possible, that the therapists also provide tools, help the client learn tools that they can use to help them feel relatively safe. Because if the only place they feel safe is with you, the therapist, then when they leave and then they start feeling, horrible again, terrified, helpless, then sometimes, very frequently actually, they'll kind of shame themselves, what Fritz Perls called the top dog, because you're not able to, they're more dependent, they're completely dependent on the therapist. And so if we can give them even the smallest tools for self-soothing, for self-regulation, and I mentioned a number of them, I demonstrated a number of these with a person, with a client. This is, I don't know if you can see this. Let me maybe move back a little bit, or something like that. Okay, I'm gonna get up on my haunches here. Okay, here you take your right hand and you put it here under your left arm, on the side of the heart. Yeah, got it. And the other hand on the shoulder. And just to get a feeling, Ruth and everybody else who's watching, what this feels like, what the sensation is like, not just of your hands, but of what's going on inside of your body. Most people report a settling. What this does, I believe, is it helps us become aware of our container. See, and we'll probably get into this a little bit more. The body is the container of all of our sensations and all of our feelings. It's all in the body. And this is the container of the body, is the kind of the outside of our body, our shoulders, the sides of our thorax and so forth. And when the person can feel the container, then the emotions and the sensations do not feel as overwhelming because they're being contained. Another very simple thing people can do, usually I suggest they do this one first. The second one is just putting a hand on their forehead and the other hand on their upper chest. And just to wait, and they can do this with their eyes open or closed, whatever they feel more comfortable with. A lot of people like to do it with their eyes closed, or others don't feel safe enough. To just feel what goes on between the hands. Sometimes they'll feel like an energy flow or a change in temperature or a feeling. And I just ask them just to keep their hands there. It could be just a few moments. It could be 5 or 10 minutes until they feel some kind of a shift. And then to take the upper hand here, keep the lower hand on the chest, and then put this hand on the belly. And again, just wait until there's some shift, till there's some flow. And sometimes people, if they're unable to sleep or they're afraid they're going to have nightmares, if they do simple things like that, They fall into sleep much better, and often the dreams are much more useful dreams. There are other techniques, you know, the tapping, the energy psychology kinds of things. For some people, that works very well. Other people, you can use like tapping. Another thing I suggest is actually literally tapping the skin all over, so you get a sense of the boundary, because traumatized people, there's a hole in their boundary. So as you kind of help the body remember that it is the container, then they feel more able to deal with their sensations and their emotions. Also, squeezing the muscles, different parts of the body, also helps with boundary, sense of boundary.
When the nervous system has been hijacked by trauma, it's crucial to resource patients with these kinds of body-oriented techniques. And when we do that, we're giving patients the tools they need to feel safe, not just when they're with us in our office, but also so that they can restore their own sense of safety between sessions. Now I'd like to hear from you. As you've watched Peter demonstrate these techniques, how will you use them in your work with patients? And what other techniques have you found effective in helping patients feel safe? Please leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.